Welcome back to Technology and Programming in Mathematics. So, in the first part of the course, we had been reviewing our algebra, trigonometry, some geometry, some calculus, and we had been using LaTeX to help present our solutions. So that is some technology for communicating about mathematics. It gave us a way to very conveniently typeset mathematical symbols and a way to incorporate figures. Now, we're also going to do some programming in this class. And I think the simplest way to get into programming is through the language of Python. It's a very easy transition from just descriptions of English words, commands described using English words, and the actual Python code. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a website to write our code. And this is the website right here, so Replit. So you just go to repl.it and create an account. Okay, so now your first assignment in this class is going to be giving me a screenshot of the new account you've created. So you would go here, you would sign up. I actually linked my Replit to my Google account, so I just clicked sign up with Google, and I did it that way. Now, if you haven't done a screenshot before, what you do is you use the print screen button on your keyboard. If you want to highlight just the active window, hold down the Alt key. So Alt and print screen. Now on Windows, it won't actually give you a separate file, so you'll have to do that yourself. I would recommend just going to Paint, open up Paint, and then paste the picture that you just created, and then save it. On a Mac, it will actually create a file in your Pictures folder for you. So that's kind of convenient and nice there. Okay, so that's going to be your first assignment. Create your Replit account, give me a screenshot. And what I want a screenshot of is your kind of main page. So let me log in here. So I'm logging in with Google. And this would be my home page. Okay, I've created a few problems or created a few programs already, so yours might not look like this. But there's my profile, so this is what I want a screenshot of. And that's what you will submit in Canvas. Okay, so I want to, let's do a new Python Replit, and let's do inputs. Oh no, yeah, let's call it basic input output. Okay, so I'm creating a new Replit called basic inputs and outputs. Okay, let me zoom in here, make the screen nice and big, make the writing nice and big so we can read it. Okay, so you see here I've got two panes. I've got this pane, which is where I can type my code, and I've got this pane over here, which is where the output will be. You can actually type in the output window as well. If I wanted Python to do 3 plus 5, it gives me 8, okay? If I wanted it to do 3 times 5, 15. If I wanted to do 3 power 5, this is something a little tricky. You use a double multiplication symbol for exponents in Python. Okay, so 3 power 5 is 243. If I try the usual symbol, which would be a caret, I'll get, I don't know what it's doing there. I was expecting it to return an error. Obviously, that is not 3 to the power 5. Okay, so addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, those are all typical. I can do 3 minus 5. I can do 3 divided by 5. Okay, everything there is great. Okay, a couple of other operations that are going to be handy that we'll use a lot. I think if I do double divide by 5, okay, that's the quotient, and then 3 pound 5. Okay, that's not so great. Let's do it the other way here. Let me do 11 double divide 3. Now, oh, that's not great either. 14 double divide 3. Okay, so let's think about this problem here, the arithmetic problem. 3 going into 14. Okay, 3 would go into 14 4 times with 2 left over. Okay, so 14 double divide 3 is 4. That operation is telling you the quotient, the whole number quotient. 14% 3, this should give me a 2. Okay, it's giving you the remainder. Okay, so the double divide symbol, the slash slash, that'll give you the whole number quotient. Percent will give you the remainder from the division. And of course, if I just do one division, it'll give me the decimal answer. Okay, so let's do some commands over here. Okay, this is the first thing that you should do in any program. Okay, so print. Now, I know there are some of you in the class that have not used a command line before, so this will be a very kind of gentle introduction to how all this goes. Okay, now when we're talking about the print command in Python, we are not talking about sending information to a printer. We're talking about printing something on the screen. Okay, so if I print this, hello world, actually, let's do single quotes. I think you can get away with either one, but let's do the single quotes. Okay, so I've got a one-line program here. If I run this program, whatever I put in quotes here, Python will reproduce exactly that on the screen. Okay. So let me modify the program here. Now, when you're working with a computer program, naturally you want the computer to be able to display the results of calculations on the screen for you. You've got to have some way of getting the computer to tell you the answer that it's come up with, but you also need to be able to put information into the computer. Okay? So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to tell the computer my name and I wanted the computer to say hello Tom on the screen, I would do this. Name equals input. Okay, and now I can put a prompt right there. Now my prompt would be, what's your name? Question mark. Oops. Okay, so yeah, I get it. Over there, okay. Let me scooch this out of the way here. So, what's your name? Question mark. Now, computer programming languages are almost a little bit backwards, okay? Name is going to be the memory location where this information is stored, okay? So it's going to say, it's going to prompt the user for input, and then whatever input it gets is going to be stored over there, okay? So I'm going to modify this a little bit. Hello name. Let's try running this. Okay, it doesn't like that. Oh, it's thinking that was the end of the quote. What is your name? How about that? Okay, what is my name? Tom. Hello, Tom. Okay, so notice what we've got going on here. All right, so we have a line right here that prompts the user to input some information. And then this next line outputs some additional information using what the user gave. Okay, so if I input George, it'll say hello, George. All right. A few things here. Might be a little bit cleaner to do this. \n. I think that's a command. What's that new line command? Do you not like that? Pause 1 second. So what I was wanting was the program to take my name on a new line. And I can do that if I put \n inside the quotes there. So if I run this now, it'll say, what's your name? It'll put it on a new line so it doesn't look like it's right jammed next to it. And then it says, hello, Tom. Okay. Now, you might want to say, okay, well, what if I wanted to put like a period after this, or an exclamation point, or say, hello, Tom, how are you? Something like that. Well, you can kind of continue things right after this. Okay. Is it not liking this? Oh, okay, I need a comma there to separate the things I want it to print. So, what's your name? My name is Tom. Hello, Tom. How are you? Okay, so it does have that weird little space after Tom. Okay, so there are some nicer ways to format what we're doing here, but these are some of the basics here. So you have a way to get the computer to display information on screen. That's the print command. And you have a way to get input from the user into the computer, and that's the input command. Okay, now the input command has this prompt right here, so you are allowed to put text in these parentheses. It's got to be in quotes. Okay, it's got to be in those quotes, and that'll let the user know, okay, what should I be putting in here? Okay. So let's do something, kind of like this. Let's get rid of this "how are you" thing. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll prompt the user for some more information. Let's say something like this: number. No, I don't want to use number. Let's just do X. We'll call our number X. And we'll say input, and we'll prompt the user, and we'll say, what is your favorite number? Okay, so this is prompting the user to give a number. And let's try to do something with that. And we'll say, we'll print, and we'll do this. Double that number, and you get, and let's have it print double the number. Okay, 2 times X. All right. So here the user is going to put a number in, and down here, we want the computer to display double that number. Now, something weird is going to happen. So I want you to see what happens here. Okay, what's my name? Tom. What's my favorite number? 7. Double that number, and you get 7. Okay, so what I was wanting the computer to do was I wanted it to display 14, of course, right? The problem is that Python is treating my input as a string. Okay, these are some data types. Python lets you be pretty fast and loose with the data types compared to other programs, but you still have to be careful with your data types. So Python will treat any input you give it as a string. It's just taking a literal collection of characters. And if you're dealing with the string data type and you tell Python to do 2 times that string, it's just going to print that string twice. Of course, that's not what we want. Okay? We want to treat this input not as a collection of characters, but as a number. Okay, so what we do here is this. We're just going to make it integer data type. So int of this. So your data types are, your basic data types are your strings, which is a collection of characters, integers, okay, whole numbers, positive and negative, floating point, those are your decimals. Okay, now if I run this program, let's look at what it does. What is your name? Tom. Hello, Tom. What is your favorite number? 7. Okay, double that and you get 14. All right, now it's doing the thing that we want. Okay, so by changing the data type of our input and making Python convert that input to an integer, now we can do the computations the way we expect. If I had done a float, it'll convert my input to a floating point, so it'll treat it as a decimal. So what is your name? Tom. What is your favorite number? 7. Double that number and you get 14. Notice it does 14.0. Okay? And if I have it as a floating point and I enter in, my favorite number is 3.1415926, double that and you get 6.28315.825. Okay? It'll allow me to put a decimal there. If I still had integer there and I tried that same thing, what is your name? Tom. What's your favorite number? 3.1415926. Okay, it doesn't like that. Okay, so it gave the user an error there because my input was not an integer. Okay, so that's some basic input-output stuff. And as we go through the course, we're going to deal with quite a bit more of that, and we'll kind of build it as we go. There are much nicer ways to format the things I'm doing here. In particular, if you had multiple inputs that you wanted to put in, or multiple things that you wanted to display, there are better ways to do it than what I'm doing right here. Hello, comma, name. That's not great. Okay, so just some basics there to get us started, and we'll look at more programs as we go through the rest of this course.